So that brings us to today. We are about to start a life revolution program. And I have started this, no joke, probably 20 or more times in the past. And I have failed every time. Um, Sometimes right away, sometimes within a couple of hours, sometimes not for a few months. And I've been able to sustain uh, sort of positive practices or whatever you want to call them, growth oriented practices for quite a period of time. At my best, I think I was in a really growth oriented phase for about 2.5 years. Did daily practice, meditation, and a whole bunch of different things, and it was phenomenally impactful. It had a lot of effects on me, and then I got triggered. I'll tell you the story maybe some other time, but um, yeah, during a meditation session, and dissociated so severely that I didn't sit to meditate again for almost a decade. No, that's not true. Well, maybe 7 years. Yeah, okay, I guess that's true. um, so I tried other things in that period of time, but yeah, like I've struggled with this. So we're embarking on a journey here together. I wanted this to be authentic, so it's going to be raw and rough, and if I try to make it perfect, hell, I didn't even comb my hair, so if I try to make it perfect, I'm never going to get it done, and I'll never ever put it online. Um, so I'm not going to make it perfect. It's going to be all fucked up and you know, rough around the edges and real. I don't expect this to be a linear journey. I do expect to succeed this time, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be setbacks. And I'd like to include you that in it. I'd like to, wow, that's, yeah, there's nerves happening right there. I would like to include you in this process if you're interested in joining me in it. Because, I mean, if you're here and you're still listening to me ramble, you probably have some shame shit yourself. Say that 5 times fast. Um, you've probably also failed. You've probably also been given well meaning, well intended advice that has made you feel worse about yourself. And you've also probably hidden behind other people and God knows what else for your whole life. So when you see these like well-being people, these motivational speakers, they're all on stage and they're like, "Yo, dude, yeah, I was all depressed and all these things, and I grew up with all these problems, and blah blah blah." And well, I mean, I do generally believe them. I'm not that cynical to believe that they're all full of shit or something, um, but it's also kind of hard to relate to because the dude on stage, it doesn't exactly seem like you sitting on your couch for the fourth day in a row in your pajamas, smelling your body odor and, you know, drinking nothing but coffee, um, hiding from the world or whatever because you feel like absolute garbage. They're not coming from that place. And it's really bloody hard to imagine that they've ever been there, even if they tell you that they have. So I'm not starting you here at the very beginning of this journey. The very beginning of this journey, the very beginning of this journey happened like whatever, 25 years ago or something, but the very beginning of this more productive phase of the journey started about a year and a little bit ago, maybe almost a year and a half now, when I went to the hospital and signed myself up into a daily program for people who were basically unable to function. Um, but weren't quite at the point of being institutionalized. Um, yeah, so that was me. And just before signing up for this, I was on the bottom. I It's amazing when you fall apart because you watch it happen. And the wise you is still in there while you fall apart. And it knows what's going on. And it even knows how to stop it. But it doesn't have the strength. It doesn't have the constancy in your identity. It doesn't have the resilience to truly direct your behaviors. So despite your knowledge and your better judgment and all these things, you fall apart anyways. It's a really strange experience to go through. Yeah, and so when people say, like, why don't you just, inside you're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't even count. I couldn't count possibly how many times I have been in that moment of decision where, like, should I do this or should I do that? And I know what the right thing to do is. And I watch myself go do the wrong thing. So the first part of this journey was therapy. And it's still going on. Probably will for quite a while yet. It was a shit show. I can eat therapists for breakfast. and I've burned through quite a few of them, as I said. But this woman got to me in a way that nobody else has, and I owe her possibly my life. But man, healing is rough and messy. It's not like I did a few months of therapy and then got myself onto a well-being program and I'm all better now. Like, no, man. I did a year of therapy and still oscillate between, barely functional and whatever is on the other side of that, complete disaster. Yeah, someone who's coming apart at the seams. And that's where I am right now. I'm in that oscillation phase. At the best of times, I'm barely functional, and at the worst of times, you wouldn't recognize me. So truly don't think that you can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I mean, if you could, you probably would have done so already. I'm sure you've tried. I know I have. I think the first step, really, if you have significant trauma and internalized shame, is to reach out for help. And you'll very likely have to reach out more than once. It's kind of like dating. Unless you married your first dating partner and married them and lived happily ever after, like one person I know, then that you can kind of get along reasonably well with lots of people, but that special spark, that magic chemistry, that's rare, man. That's rare. Being attracted to someone is one thing, but being truly like resonant with someone, oh, that's rare. And you have to find that therapist. And you probably won't recognize them at first. But it is a very important step to, get outside of relying on yourself. There's no shame in that.